Hello. Today I will be giving my thoughts on the newest addition to the MCU, Captain Marvel. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, I welcome you. If you're a returning subscriber, good to have you back. I just want to give a quick disclaimer, I do not own any of the footage that I use in this video. All credits go to Marvel. Also, I am not an avid comic book reader, but I have knowledge on events that happen in the comics and characters in the comics. Alright, now on with the review. This section will be spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and do not go past this section. To start off, I didn't really like the movie. While I understand that this movie was necessary to introduce Captain Marvel into the MCU before she appears in Endgame, I honestly would have preferred a Black Widow movie. But regardless, this movie has a pretty good cast, well-made story, and pretty damn good effects. The fights are well choreographed, the story is easy enough to follow, and the movie's made so all the characters are pretty likable. If you're looking for an action-filled movie with a strong female lead and pretty good effects, easy to follow story, this is definitely the movie for you. If you're looking for a comic-accurate rendition of Captain Marvel, still go see the movie, but just be prepared to be let down a bit. So this section is just going to be me talking about some things I wanted to bring up in the video. Number 1, the opening Marvel titles. So you know how before every MCU movie there's the Marvel logo and it has moments from previous MCU movies within the logo itself? This thing right here. In Captain Marvel, they replaced all of the MCU movie moments with a bunch of Stan Lee's cameo. And then right after that, they had text that said, "Thank you, Stan." I honestly think that this is a great tribute to Stan Lee, and it still boggles my mind that we lost such a great man and a real titan of the comic book world. Rest in peace, Stan. Number 2, the setting. We all know that this movie was set in the 1990s, but it really doesn't feel that way. I'm not saying that that's inherently bad, but I don't know. There are moments in the movie that give you the impression that it is definitely a 90s movie, but it doesn't feel that way the whole way throughout the movie. Number 3, Stan Lee's cameo. Now, if you really do not want any spoilers whatsoever for this movie, go ahead and skip to this time code. Alright, so you know in the trailers where Captain Marvel is on the train and then she punches that old lady in the face?
So, Skrulls are the bad guys.
Yeah, it's that scene in the movie. Pretty much right after she gets on the train, she starts looking for the Skrull that shapeshifted into the old lady that we saw in the trailers. When she first gets on the train, she looks over at a man reading a newspaper and he's kind of mumbling to himself. He moves the newspaper down, and of course, it's Stan Lee. He looks at her, smiles, she smiles back at him, and he goes back to reading his paper. That was his cameo. So now we move on to the spoilers section, because I feel like I really can't talk about this movie anymore without spoiling anything. So to start off, why are Skrulls good guys in this movie? Like I said before, I'm not an avid comic book reader, but I know that Skrulls aren't good guys. Do you guys remember the Secret Invasion event that happened in the comics a while ago? For those of you who don't, Secret Invasion was an event where it turns out pretty much all of your favorite Marvel characters were secretly Skrulls who came from their home planet to invade Earth. They invaded Earth, took a bunch of heroes hostage, enslaved people, and even killed some people. Granted, their end goal was to improve Earth's culture and quality of living, but they're still bad guys. I mean, you can't do that kind of stuff and not be a bad guy. It just doesn't make sense. In the movie, it's somewhat similar, but they're painted as good guys rather than how they are in that comic event. We've waited this long to see Skrulls on the big screen, and this is what we get? Are you kidding me? Next up, Mar-Vell. What about Mar-Vell? Mar-Vell was the first Captain Marvel. He first appeared in Marvel Superheroes number 12 in December of 1967. It wasn't until he died in the 2012 comic Avenging Spider-Man number 9 that Carol Danvers took up the name of Captain Marvel. Because Mar-Vell died, she was already a superhero at that point, but she wanted to honor his name, so she took the name Captain Marvel from the name Mar-Vell. Kind of stupid, but that's how it is. Before Carol went by Captain Marvel, she was known as Binary, Warbird, Miss Marvel. So in the comics, Mar-Vell was a man that Carol trained under, respected, and spent so much time with, and then only after he died did she go by the name Captain Marvel to try to honor his legacy. But in the movie, Mar-Vell turned out to be a woman. She was known as Dr. Lawson in the movie. I know that in the comics, Mar-Vell had an alias. It was Lawson as well. But in the movie, Mar-Vell was a woman, Wendy Lawson. I feel like the decision to make Mar-Vell a woman was just try to get more women into the roles of strong female characters. That's not a bad thing, but when you have a character that's a man or a woman, you can't just change them. It's gonna upset a lot of fanboys. Honestly, I feel like it would have been better and it would have made more sense if Jude Law's character turned out to be Mar-Vell. Because we see him way more than we see her in the trailers and in the actual movie itself, now that I think about it. Alright, this last section is going to be stuff that happened in the movie that bothered me a bit, but wasn't enough to ruin the entire movie for me. Number 1, Fury's backstory on his eye. So after 10 years of the MCU, we finally get to see how Nick Fury lost his eye. And honestly, it's kind of disappointing. You guys remember the cat in the trailers?
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Fury.
What's cute? I'll be back.
His name is Goose. He's a tabby cat. Well, surprise, surprise, Fury got his eye clawed out by the cat. Yeah, there's your backstory. It's funny because it actually kind of brings a funny new meaning to the line in Winter Soldier where he says,
"Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye."
so yeah, that's how Fury lost his eye. Number 2, the post-credit scene. I honestly can't believe I waited through the entire credits just to watch this post-credit scene. It was so stupid. All it was the cat coughing up the Tesseract onto Nick Fury's desk. Oh yeah, the Tesseract was in this movie, by the way. Number 3, the cat wasn't really a cat. Goose the cat, you know, the one that we saw in the trailers and the promos? Yeah, it turns out he's an alien. There you go. So that's my review of Captain Marvel. I feel like this movie was a bit overhyped. I kind of expected more from it, but I was kind of let down. I mean, it's not a horrible movie. It definitely has its moments, but I wouldn't have it in my top 5 MCU movies list. Overall, I'd give Captain Marvel a solid 6 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed watching my review of Captain Marvel. If you have any thoughts on this movie, go ahead and leave your comments down below. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you can stay updated on whenever I upload a video, which is not on a schedule at all. It's completely random. Anyways, see you later.